All right. All right, we're live, everyone. Shalom. This is the Waking by Yahuwah Assembly. I'm Brother Doug, as always. Shabbat Shalom out there. We are going to be doing a part 4 of how to find Yahusha in the Tanach. I apologize, everyone, for Job 21 and 22. We had some technical difficulties. I tried re-recording it. I believe it was first day of last week, and it just, I don't know, the sound didn't go through. So hopefully you guys are hearing me right now. Because as far as I can tell, my speaker's on, my volume's up all the way. You guys should be able to hear me. So again, I apologize for that one not getting through. So we're going to be looking at this study here, and let me try to get, I should have, let me just fix Sister. All right, yeah, Sister Sally was on. All right, maybe she'll get back on. Let's see here.
I'm still on. Can you hear me?
Oh, okay. I keep forgetting, sis, that you're on like a two-way with Brother Dennis and Sister Shoshana. That's what confused me. Okay. So I'm just not seeing you as I usually do when you're on your own line. So that kind of just confused me a little bit looking at the participants there. So, all right. Let me see here. Go to Google Docs. That's where I keep all my studies. All right. So Google Docs, and I really recommend those that have not tried out Google Docs, definitely try it out. It's a really good program on your Android device. I'm pretty sure iPhone has something similar to that, whatever program they use for their apps. There's got to be some type of document program that they would use. All right, so let me see here. Go to shared screen. Audio on. So if you have an Android phone, it's a really great program to use. Really great. Let me try something here. Let me go with, there we go, battery saver. Smart. All right, there we go. There we go. Now it's in dark mode. Okay. Please give me time, guys. I'm just scrolling down here trying to get to where we left off. I think we were about to do the cross-reference Isaiah chapter 2. We did all these before. Let me see here. Actually, you know what? Let's see here. I think it was under, here we go. Yahuwah of armies, right? Okay, so we did this. We did this. Trying to see where we left off here. They have it a little bit different here. How it's okay. I see what they combined it since I have it on a flat view. Okay, I see what they're doing. Okay, so we're up to Isaiah chapter 2, verse 12. This one right here. So we're gonna go to that next. Just to kind of make it quicker, guys, I'm gonna be like reading my scriptures while keeping it on this screen for the document, so I know which scripture to go to next, since they're all in bullet point format. So all right, so we're first going to go to, I believe it's what, Isaiah 2:12. So I'm going to go to my LXXE. By the way, those of you guys using digital scriptures on the My Sword, it'll be LXXE as the Septuagint. Okay, so you got Isaiah 2:12. For the day of Yahuwah of armies, or Yahuwah Sabuot, shall be upon everyone that is proud and haughty, and upon everyone that is high and towering, and they shall be brought down. Now notice, in your version, it probably just says Yahuwah. Oh no, it does say Yahuwah of armies. Mm-hmm. Okay, so that's the same there in both versions. Whether you're reading from, it doesn't matter which version. It will say hosts there, just FYI. That Hebrew word there for host is sabuot, which means armies, heaven's armies. So host, in my opinion, is a very bad, and I've said this multiple times, is a very bad translation of that word. It doesn't give you the whole understanding of what that word means. So again, this is a title that Yahusha has in scripture, is Yahuwah of armies. Mm-hmm. Just like Yahuwah Alua, as we've seen earlier. So now let me just make sure that we're on the right one here. So we're definitely okay. So
what does it mean when something's in parentheses? That it was added?
Yeah, italics, parentheses, anything that's a little off in the verse. If it looks different from the other words or letters in the verse, it's probably not originally there.
I find it interesting because it says, and they will be humbled in parentheses.
So according to your translation is saying that the Masoretic does not have, they shall be brought low. Okay. Right. All right. In the Septuagint, it has it, I believe. And they shall be brought down. Yeah. So I don't know why the NIV would hint that it's not there in the verse when clearly it's there.
There's no footnote either.
So very strange. Let me just double check here and make sure that. No, it's there. Mm-hmm. I don't know why they would put it in parentheses. That's definitely a little confusing to put that in parentheses. He shall be brought low, or they shall be brought low. Yeah, the Hebrew word for that phrase is shafal. Humiliate, low, bring down. So I don't know what the NIV is talking about there. Anyway, moving on. Chapter 3, verse 1. While my mom looks that up, we're going to read chapter 3, verse 1, which the Septuagint again has, behold now, Yahuwah of armies, or Yahuwah Sabaoth, will take away from Jerusalem and from Judea the mighty man and the mighty woman, strength of bread, the strength of water. Now, the difference in the Masoretic is, you'll notice, if you have a Strong's here, you'll have the first lowercase lord is actually Adonai or Adonis or Adon. Okay. So in the Masoretic, it would say Adon Yahuwah of armies, or Yahuwah Sabaoth. So they add here Adon, which is very weird. So that's very strange there. So we have Adon or Adonai added there by the Masoretic text, which probably originally there would have just been a regular Hebrew word for master or something. And again, I don't believe Adon or Adonai is a legitimate word for master in the original Paleo. I doubt it was originally a word in the Paleo Hebrew language as just meaning master. So anyway, so that's Isaiah 3, verse 1. And again, the Septuagint says, Yahuwah of armies. Behold now, Yahuwah. You have kurios or kurion twice in this verse. So it would be, behold now, Yahuwah, Yahuwah Sabaoth will take away from Jerusalem, from Judea, the mighty man, the mighty woman, the strength of bread, and the strength of water. So that was Isaiah 3, verse 1. Now we're going to go to Isaiah 5, 7. So we're going to go to Isaiah 5, 7. For the vineyard of Yahuwah of armies is the house of Yasharal, and the men of Yehuda, beloved plant. I expected to bring forth right ruling, and it brought forth lawlessness, and not righteousness, but a cry. So Yahuwah is rebuking his people, talking about you're supposed to be a righteous plant, but now you've become a degenerative, lawless plant. But as we see here, Yahuwah of armies is the name there. So again, Yahusha is being mentioned there in Isaiah 5, 7. So Yahuwah Sabaoth. All right. So now we go to verse 9. And again, Yahuwah Sabaoth in my ears says, Yahuwah Sabaoth, of a truth, many houses shall be desolate, even great and fair without inhabitant. Again, so we have Yahuwah Sabaoth, Yahuwah of armies. Okay. And by the way, if anyone's asking why I believe that when it has Yahuwah of armies, that compound, why it's specifically talking about the role of the Son, the Ben, Yahusha. If you go to Revelations 19, I'm just going to prove a point here why I believe Yahuwah of armies is specifically talking about Yahusha. If you go to Revelations chapter 19, let's see here. Trying to see which one it is. Talks about, yeah, here we go. 19 verse 14, it says, and the armies which were in heaven followed him upon the white horse and clothed in fine linen, white and clean. So basically, he's the leader of all the armies of heaven, which that means even Michael is led by him. So that's why I believe Yahuwah Sabaoth is actually referring specifically to Yahusha, the role of the Ben, and all that. So, okay, so let's see here. Isaiah 5:7, 9. We just did verse 9. Now let's look. We got verse 16 here. So Isaiah 5:16. But Yahuwah Sabaoth, Yahuwah of armies, shall be exalted in right ruling, and the set apart Alua shall be esteemed in righteousness. Okay, so self-explanatory there. Verse 24. Therefore, as stubble shall be burnt by a coal of fire, and shall be consumed by a violent flame, their root shall be as chaff, and their flower shall go up as dust, for they rejected the law of Yahuwah Sabaoth and insulted the word of the set apart one of Yasharal. So this is even telling you here who Yahuwah of armies is, if you listen closely, right? It says the law of who? Yahuwah of armies. And insulted who? The word of the set apart one of Yasharal. So if you put that together, that last sentence there in the verse, right? Who is Yahuwah of armies? The word of Yahuwah. So this is why it's important to understand punctuation marks did not exist in the original scriptures. You take that comma out, it's one statement. So it's saying Yahuwah of armies is the word of Yahuwah. That's what it's actually saying in Isaiah 5:24 there. Now, yours might be read a little differently in the Masoretic. Let me see here. They have cast away the law of Yahuwah of armies and despised the word of the set apart one. No, you can get that in the Masoretic as well. So now we're going to move on to chapter 6 of Isaiah, verse 3 and verse 5. By the way, the reason, guys, I'm going quick is there's 50 cross references of this topic. So there's a reason I'm going quick. So Isaiah 6, verse 3. And one cried out to another and said, set apart, set apart, set apart is Yahuwah Sabaoth. Sabaoth. The whole earth is full of his splendor. Interesting. So, mind you, now people, this is a good verse to use for people that say that Yahusha can't be Yahuwah. They can't be the same person. Okay, if that's the case, then you have idolatry going on in heaven. And I'll tell you right now why. These angels are worshiping Yahusha. According to Deuteronomy 6, who is the only person that can be worshipped? The Father, right? So if Yahuwah of armies is a separate person from Yahuwah, then you have a problem. Then you have someone else who's not the Father being worshipped by these seraphim. That would be a big problem. So this is a good verse to use for people that still are still unsure about the oneness or still battling accepting the oneness. I really recommend Isaiah 6, verse 3. Clearly, it shows that Yahusha is being worshipped by the messengers. And by the way, there's also verses in the Brit Hadashah that talk about this. Paul quotes from Deuteronomy, says, let all the angels worship him, referring to Yahusha, but so on and so forth. So anyway, Isaiah 8, verse 13. Set apart Yahuwah of armies himself. Let him be your fear. Let him be your dread. Okay. Very key. Fear Yahuwah, not man. Okay. Interestingly enough, the LXX just says Yahuwah, but the Masoretic text has Yahuwah Sabaoth. So that I might have to make a note of that only the Masoretic has it there. But verse 18 is there in both. So what I'll do is, to be fair here, let me just move this for a second. Put Masoretic text next to verse 13 there. All right, so Isaiah 8:18 in both the LXX, the Septuagint, and the Masoretic text has, "Behold, I and the children which Alua has given me, they shall be signs and wonders in the house of Yashar from Yahuwah Sabaoth, who dwells in Mount Zion." So again, I think we all can agree there's only one person dwelling in the temple of Mount Zion, right? Yahuwah. So again, you have the oneness here of the Father and the Son. It's claiming that Yahuwah Sabaoth, or Yahuwah of armies, dwells in Zion, in Jerusalem, in the temple. Okay, so it's showing that this person, the word of Yahuwah, Yahuwah Sabaoth, is the Father Yahuwah. So that's another good verse to use for oneness stuff. Okay, so Isaiah 8:18 would be another one to use. Okay, all right. Let's see, Isaiah 9:7. Isaiah 9:7. So I think we'll. Now, what's interesting here, this is the one time I prefer the Masoretic over the Septuagint in Isaiah 9:7, mainly because I have a couple witnesses, like the Targums for Isaiah chapter 9. So it says here, let's go with the Masoretic for this particular verse. Of the increase of his government, and peace shall be no end, meaning no end to his rule, upon the throne of David and upon his kingdom, to order it, to establish it with judgment and right ruling. From hereforth, even forever, the zeal of Yahuwah Sabaoth will perform this. Now, what's interesting, it says the zeal in the Masoretic. Now, what's interesting in the Septuagint, if you look at the last part of the verse in the Septuagint, it says the seal, not zeal, seal of Yahuwah of armies shall perform this. Now, what is the Father's seal? What distinguishes from the mark of Yahuwah versus the mark of the beast? His Torah, right? Mm-hmm. What happened in the book of Ezekiel? What happened where you had people, all these abominations happening in the land? What does Yahuwah say? He says, "Put a mark on the men, those who are crying about men who are not following my law." So the law is his seal. Who is the law made flesh? Yahusha. So it's actually identifying in Isaiah 9:7 that Yahusha, the seal of Yahuwah, is Yahuwah of armies. So this is clearly what it's talking about. Or you could even say the seal of Yahuwah of armies shall perform this. So it's actually saying his seal. The law is Yahusha's seal. So very interesting. Also, I want to read, this is where the Targums come in and how much stronger it is. And the Targums, which is very interesting, I'm going to explain why it's interesting. Let me see, let me just get my Targum of Isaiah real quick. Right over here. My little parallel edition here to show you it's even stronger in the Targums. And mind you, these Targums were not written by believers in the Messiah. So we got any Muslims watching, any Jewish people watching, so I want to let you guys know that most likely these Targums were not written by those that have accepted Yahusha. Some of these Targums, especially the prophets, supposedly were written before Messiah even came to earth. Like the claim about this Targum of Isaiah manuscript found in the Dead Sea Scrolls that supposedly it dates to 3 BC. If that's the case, Messiah did not come to earth until about 1 BC or close to 4 BC. So interesting. So he would have not even started his mission yet. He would be 1 year old. Okay. The dating of this Targum. Okay. So anyway, so it says here in Isaiah 9:7, the greatness of those who do the law shall be magnified, and into those that preserve peace. There shall be no end to the throne of David and of his kingdom to establish it and to build it in right ruling and in righteousness from hereforth, even forever, by the word of Yahuwah of armies. This shall be done. So again, it's identifying Yahusha as the word, as Yahuwah of armies, Yahuwah Sabaoth, in the Targum, mind you. So this Targum is categorized as Jewish today. Okay, it's not a Christian text. It's a pre-Christian text, mind you. Okay, something to think about. Something to think about. Okay, all right. Anyway, so now we're going to be going to, let's see, verse 13 and 19. But the people turned not until they were smitten, and they sought not Yahuwah. Okay, there's not really much there to elaborate on. It doesn't even have Yahuwah of armies there. I don't know why I put that there. Unless it's in the Masoretic. Yeah, it's in the Masoretic. Yeah. So, do they seek Yahuwah of armies? Okay. Mom, you have anything to elaborate on? I'll be right back.
Not really. Let me just see. No, not really. I don't know if anybody else has anything.
Hey, Mom, just elaborate a little bit. I'll be right back.
Okay. Okay. He picks the one time when I don't really have a whole lot. Okay, let's see here. Just noticing, on the emphasis on this whole chapter about the judgment of the arrogance and the oppressors. It's amazing to me, truly, in this day and in recent days, how much arrogance is really, really in our world. It's a very, very arrogant time. People thinking that they're owed all kinds of things. People thinking that, just that whole kind of a attitude. And it's interesting to me that arrogance is something that he thinks a great deal about, and that he is going to have humbled when Yahusha returns. So I've always found that interesting. Just seeing all around us how much arrogance there is around us from various different people. So,
yeah, good point. Very good point.
So the people did not turn to him who struck them.
All right. I'm back, guys, from a short little break there. Okay, so let me just see here. I'm curious to see if the Targum here makes it a little bit more obvious who is talking there. So let me just see here. Again, I really recommend those that are deep studiers of Scripture check these out, because it shows the mind of a Hebrew from the 1st century BC. Okay, so it says, and the people have not returned to the worship of Elua from the time that he brought upon them the stroke, and they did not seek the instruction of Yahuwah of armies. Yep. So pretty much the same thing there. Okay, so now you have
19, right?
verse 19. So see how the Septuagint word's 19 there. So what I would do with verse 13 is put a little notation that it should be Yahuwah of armies. All right, so where you can find it for verse 13. Okay, so now we got verse 19, which says, the whole earth is set on fire because of the fierce anger of Yahuwah, and the people shall be as men burnt by fire. No man shall pity his brother. So now this seems to be...
I see a big difference. You're reading from where? The Septuagint?
Yeah, the Septuagint leaves out...
the wrath.
No, it says the same. Mom, anger and wrath.
Oh, all right, okay.
They're synonyms.
Oh, okay.
What it leaves out actually is the Sabaoth. That's what it's leaving out. So the Masoretic would say Yahuwah of armies. The Septuagint just says Yahuwah. So Yahuwah of armies, through the wrath of Yahuwah of armies is the land darkened. The people shall be as fuel of fire. No man shall spare his brother. Yeah, but wrath and anger are the same thing.
I did not know that. I thought wrath was a little bit stronger.
No, anger and wrath are the same thing. Okay. Yeah. Yeah, they're like synonyms for one another. So, but the Masoretic does have Yahuwah of armies, which the Septuagint doesn't. The of armies is not there. So, interestingly enough, which doesn't happen a lot, but it's there that time. So, anyway, and also you have verse 19 saying, through the wrath of Yahuwah, this is from the Targum here, verse 19, through the wrath from before the presence of Yahuwah of armies, the earth shall be burnt up, and the people shall be like burning fuel of fire. No man shall spare his brother. So it's interesting that it says from the presence. That's interesting. So, all right, now we're moving on to, let's see, Isaiah 1:16. Got a couple from Isaiah chapter 1. Here. So Isaiah 1, stupid taskbar here is in the way. Okay, yeah, so 1:16. Okay, so Isaiah chapter 1, verse 16. Isaiah 1:16. Return to the law, make you clean from your sins. Put away the evil of your doings from before the presence of my word. Cease to do evil. Now, what's interesting, it says in the Targum there, the presence of my word. So the Masoretic, let's see here what they would say. Mine eyes. Okay, very general there. Yeah, this time the Targum makes it very clear that it's talking about Yahusha here. The presence of his word. So definitely interesting there. So I'm going to make a little note of that. That the Targum there is probably the best version of that verse that I see. Just the fact that it's a lot more specific. So the presence of his word. Okay. Presence of my word. Okay. All right. Let's see here. Here, verse 26. And I will appoint in you right rulers of truth, upright ones, as at first, and your counselors as at the beginning afterward. You shall be called the set apart city, the trustworthy city. Now, there's no really Yahuwah of army stuff there, so that's my bad about that, guys. Let's see here. Unless Unless it's in other versions. Let me just see something really quick. I don't know why I had that. And there's no verse 33 there, so I'm going to just move on. I think I miscited that cross-reference. Okay, we're going to go now to Isaiah 13. I apologize for the jumping back and forth. I'm going through bullet points here, guys, so I apologize for that. There, a voice of multitude in the mountains like that, as of a great people, the voice of a tumultuous assembly of kings of nations being assembled. Yahuwah of armies is mustering the armies for battle. Again, the Targum here has Yahuwah of armies in Isaiah 13, verse 4. Okay, so Isaiah 13, 4. Yep. Septuagint has Yahuwah of armies. I think all versions have it in this one. Yeah. Okay, so we're on the right track again now. All right, now we're going to go to verse 13 here. Therefore, I will shake the heavens, and the earth shall remove out of her place from before the presence of Yahuwah of armies, or Yahuwah Sabaoth, in the day of the fierceness of his anger. So again, the fierceness of his anger, the fierceness of his wrath. So we see here in the Targum is a little different worded because they paraphrase it as the presence of Yahuwah of armies. So that's kind of different there. So just see here. Yeah. Yeah. The other versions will just say, like both the Septuagint and Masoretic will just say, because of the fierce anger of Yahuwah of armies in the day which his wrath shall come on. But the Targum actually also includes in the presence of Yahuwah of armies. So I actually like that. So now we're going to go to Isaiah 14, 22. And I will reveal myself to take vengeance on them, says Yahuwah of armies, and I will destroy of Babylon the name, the remnant, the son, and the son's son, says Yahuwah of armies. So Yahusha is basically talking here, saying, I'm going to destroy Babylon. I'm going to be the one. I will reveal myself. So that's kind of interesting. Remember how it says, to whom has your word been revealed and all that?
Yeah.
So, verse 23, and I will make it a inheritance for hedgehog, a place of desolation, pools of water, and I will sweep her as they are sweeping with a besom. I will throw her down to destroy her, says Yahuwah of armies. So again, verse 23, you have Yahuwah of armies there. Let me just check. I think all of them have it. Interesting. So the Septuagint lacks, thus says Yahuwah of armies. That's something I just want to make a note of in verse 23 there. For whatever reason, the modern copy of the Septuagint does not have that phrase. Just something to keep in mind. Keep in mind there. So LXX lacks the phrase, thus says Yahuwah of armies. But it is in the Targum and it is in the Masoretic in that verse. So now we're going to move on to verse 24. Yahuwah of armies has sworn, saying, surely I have thought, so shall it come to pass. As I have purposed, so shall it stand. Okay, all right. Now let's see what the Targum says here. Yahuwah of armies has sworn, saying, surely I have thought, so shall be, and as I have purposed, shall it stand. Okay. Yeah. Moving on here to Isaiah 17. verse 3. All right, so it says here in Isaiah 17:3, and she shall no longer be as a strong place for Ephraim to flee to. There shall no longer be a kingdom in Damascus or a remnant of Syrians, for you are no better than the children of Yasharal, than their esteem, says Yahuwah of armies. So again, Yahusha here is speaking and pronouncing judgment on these, it seems like these Syrians, Damascus, and his own people. And we see this, seems like in every version here, you have Yahuwah of armies here. So I don't see that much of a difference. Yeah. So now we're going to go to Isaiah 18, verse 7. All right. Let me see. And at that time shall one bring an offering unto Yahuwah of armies, to a people oppressed and spoiled, to a people that was mighty in times past, in time to come a people oppressed and robbed, whose land the nations have spoiled, unto the place which is called by the name of Yahuwah of armies, whose esteem is in the mountain of Zion. So again, if this Yahuwah Sabayut is another person other than Yahuwah, we have a problem. Because again, it says the city that is called by the name of Yahuwah Sabayut, it is called by this person's name. So if this person is not Yahuwah himself, we have an issue. So very interesting there. So again, it says his esteem or his splendor is in Mount Zion. Very interesting there. So that is Isaiah 18:7. And it's pretty similar in the Masoretic and the Septuagint. It's not. Yeah. All right. So we're going to move on to 19, verse 4. And I will deliver the Egyptians into the hand of a cruel master, and a fierce king shall rule over them, says Yahuwah of the world, Yahuwah of armies. Now, the Targum sometimes will have titles, extra titles to Yahusha, to Yahuwah that we don't see in the regular canon. Yahuwah of the world is a very, it seems like a very Semitic type of title for Yahuwah there. You know, basically calling him, you know, the owner of the whole Eretz, essentially, which actually makes perfect sense. You know, Yahuwah created everything, so that makes perfect sense. But Yahuwah of the world, you'll sometimes see in other extra biblical apocryphal books that mentions the Most High as Yahuwah of the world or Master of the world. Okay, so. But we have Yahuwah of armies in all three versions here. So again, it seems like the Masoretic text tried to sneak something in here. Yep, Adonai. Yep. In verse 4 of Isaiah 19, they try to sneak in a dawn right before it says Yahuwah Sabayut. So again, they're trying to add Adonai there, which you will not see in the Targum or the Septuagint, by the way. So let's make a little note of that. In chapter 19, verse 4. So now we have verse 12. So we're going to go to verse 12 now. Where are now your wise men, and let them declare to you and say, what has Yahuwah of armies purposed upon Egypt? So again, self-explanatory there. What has Yahuwah of armies purposed on Egypt? Okay, so we got that. Now we're going to go to verses 16 to 18. But in that day, the Egyptians shall be as women in fear and trembling because of the hand of Yahuwah of armies, which he shall bring upon them. Now, this is interesting. So it's talking about the right hand of Yahuwah Sabaoth, again, which is clearly talking about Yahusha. All right, so now we got verse 17. And the land of the Yahudim shall be for a terror to the Egyptians. Whosoever shall name it to them, they shall fear because of the counsel which Yahuwah Sabaoth has purposed concerning it. Now we're going to go to verse 18. In that day there shall be 5 cities in Egypt, speaking the Canaanite language and swearing by the name of Yahuwah Sabaoth. One city shall be called the city of Asadek, whatever that is. Now, one thing to know here, because I know a lot of people are going to be like, what do you mean they're calling upon his name using the Canaanite language? So what most people don't understand is the original Hebrew language, there's versions of that language today that are part of other languages. I'm going to give you an example. What we call today the Phoenician or Phoenician language is a modern Paleo-Hebrew language. Like you can literally compare it to, if anyone had the Paleo-Hebrew language today, if you compared it to Phoenician, like a chart that shows you Phoenician letters, it's almost identical. Mm-hmm. So this is what the scripture's saying at face value. It's saying that the Canaanites had what's called the Proto-Canaanite language, which was, if I'm not mistaken, would have been pictograph. It's called Proto-Canaanite. So again, it's important to understand this. That's what Yahuwah is saying through the prophet Isaiah. He's saying that you will go to Egypt and there will be people in Egypt, Egyptians speaking a version of the original language, and they will be swearing oaths by Yahuwah of armies, by Yahusha. Okay. And that's another thing too. If Yahusha's not Yahuwah, they can't swear by Yahusha's name. See, this is a concept very simple in Torah. The only name you're supposed to swear by is the mighty one you serve. Mm-hmm. You see what I'm saying? If I'm swearing by anyone else's name, that's idolatry. Okay? So this is a very simple concept in the Hebraic culture. Okay? So they could not swear by Yahuwah of armies if Yahuwah of armies is not Yahuwah himself. Okay. Anyway, so all right, we're gonna move on here to verse 20. So okay, all right. So verse 20. And it shall be for a sign to Yahuwah forever in the land of Egypt, for they shall presently cry to Yahuwah by reason of them that afflict them, and he shall send them a man who shall save them. He shall rightly rule and save them. Now, I believe the man in context would be talking about Yahusha. Obviously, Yahusha became a man, so obviously. Now, let me see here. I wonder if the Masoretic has something here. Okay, here we go. Okay, so the Masoretic says, and it shall be for a sign and for a witness unto Yahuwah of armies. Okay, so the Masoretic had it. In the land of Egypt, for they shall cry unto Yahuwah because of the oppressors, and he shall send them a savior and a great one. He shall deliver them. And let's see here, just for the heck of it, see. Now, what's interesting with the Targum version, the Targum shows that this savior that's being sent is actually Yahuwah himself. This is interesting. Mm-hmm. I'm going to show you what I'm talking about. It says, and it shall be for a sign and for a witness before Yahuwah of armies in the land of Egypt, when they shall pray before Yahuwah because of their oppressors, and he shall send unto them a savior and a right ruler, and he, who's the he? Yahuwah, shall save them. So it's very interesting. It's very interesting. The Targum there is very making it very obvious with the oneness thing there. in Isaiah 19:20. All right, let me see here. We got verse 25 here. Whom Yahuwah of armies has Baruch, saying, Baruch be my people whom I have brought out of the land of Egypt, or out of Egypt, my bad. And because they sinned before me, I carried them captive into Assyria. But when they repent, they are called my people, and Yashrael my inheritance. So those that want to claim that, well, this Yahuwah Sabaoth person is a second Yahuwah, but not Yahuwah, the problem with that understanding is that you're going to have a problem with verses like this. If Yahuwah Sabaoth, Yahuwah of armies, is not the same person as the Father, then you have this person by default committing idolatry, because if he's not the Father, he can't claim to take them out of Egypt. If he's not the Father, he can't say they sinned before me. You see what I'm saying? He's talking about the covenant that he made with them and that they broke his covenant before him. So again, Yahuwah of armies, according to Isaiah 19:25, Yahuwah of armies has to be the same exact person as Yahuwah. Has to be. If not, we have a problem in the book of Isaiah. So anyway, Isaiah 21, verse 10. Kings who are skillful to wage war shall come against her to plunder her, like a husbandman who is skillful to thrash the floor. The prophet said, the voice of the word of Yahuwah of armies, that's how the Targum puts it, by the way. We're at Isaiah 21:10. Okay, so it says, the prophet said, meaning Isaiah, the voice of the word of Yahuwah of armies, the Alua of Yashrael, which I have heard, I have declared unto you. So what's really crazy here is that in the Targum, it's making it even stronger, and it's saying that the word of Yahuwah of armies is the Elohim of Israel. So it's claiming that Yahusha is the Elohim of Israel. You okay, Mom?
Yeah, I'm fine, honey.
All right. Let's see how far we can get here with time. We're only an hour in, okay. Let's see here. Isaiah 22:14 and 25. The prophet said, with my ears I was hearing when this was decreed from before Yahuwah of armies, that this your lawlessness shall not be forgiven you till you die. Okay. So let's see here. So we have Yahuwah of armies here being mentioned, Isaiah 22:14, a little bit paraphrased in the Targum here. So the more literal word for word translation would say, and it was revealed to my ears by Yahuwah of armies, surely this lawlessness will not be purged from you till you die, says Yahuwah of armies. Okay. Okay, so again, the Septuagint seems to lack at the end there in verse 14, says Yahuwah of armies. So I'm just making some notes here. So Isaiah 22:14 says Yahuwah of armies, but also the Masoretic text is adding in Adonai there. So in your Bibles, wherever it says sovereign, if it says sovereign, that's Adonai. That Yahuwah of Lord of hosts will be Yahuwah of hosts or Yahuwah of armies, and then that word sovereign before it in the Hebrew is Adon or Adonai. So just FYI. Now let's go to verse 25. In that day, says Yahuwah of armies, shall the nail that is fastened in the sure place be removed and be cut down and fail, and the burden that was upon it shall be cut off, for Yahuwah has spoken it. So we have Yahuwah of armies is speaking this. Yep. All right. So we're going to move on to 23, verse 9. Here we go here. So chapter 23, verse 9. All right. So here we go. Yahuwah of armies is counselor against her to defile the esteem of all the objects of rejoicing and to make contemptible all the nobles of the land. So again, we have 23 verse 9, Yahuwah of armies is mentioned there. Okay. Yep. Moving on to chapter 24, verse 23. Okay. All right. So. And they shall be confounded that worship the moon, and they shall be ashamed that worship the sun, because the power of Yahuwah of armies shall be revealed in Mount Zion, and before the elders of his people in splendor. Okay, so we see here it's talking about Yahuwah of armies again. And I think that's self-explanatory. There is really not much talk about there. So just making sure that all of them have it, and then we're going to move on to the next cross-reference. Okay, so interestingly enough, out of the three, the LXX does not have Sabaoth or of armies in Isaiah 24, 23. Isaiah 25, verse 6. Okay. Isaiah 25, verse 6. And in this mountain shall Yahuwah of armies make a feast and a banquet. They think that it shall be for their esteem, but it shall be to them for disgrace and for mighty afflictions from which they shall not deliver themselves, afflictions through which they shall come to an end. Interesting paraphrase there. It's an interesting paraphrase. It almost reminds me of the people that think they're going to be part of the wedding feast, but are not. Mm-hmm. Yeah, so the context of they, by the way, that are not part of it, they think they are, but they're not, is all the other nations. So those that are not really serving Yahuwah. Because the Septuagint will say, and Yahuwah of armies shall make a feast for all the nations on this mountain. They shall drink gladness, they shall drink wine, they shall anoint themselves. Actually, that's interesting. So the Targum gives a different narrative. That's a little weird. So that's a little strange. I'm gonna have to put a question mark against that one. Why they paraphrase it like that. But anyway, the more important thing is that Yahuwah of armies is there in all versions. Okay, so it's talking about making a feast. Okay. Yeah, Yahuwah of armies will make a feast of fat things, feast of wine, yada, yada. Okay. All right. And I would assume that's talking about the wedding feast in context. Isaiah 28, verse 25. So let's see here. Oh, my bad. Not 28, 25, 28, verse 5. Sorry about that. 28, verse 5. Okay. Now, interestingly enough, it says here, at that time, the Messiah of Yahuwah of armies shall be for a crown of rejoicing and for a crown of praise to the remnant. By the way, the Targum says the Messiah of. So it's interesting. To the remnant of his people. Very interesting. So that's something that's kind of left out in most versions there. Interesting. Very interesting. So all three versions have Yahuwah of armies, by the way. So all three versions have that. Now we're going to go to verse 29 in the same chapter. And these signs came forth from Yahuwah of armies, take counsel, exalt vain comfort. That's an interesting phrase there. That's definitely a bad translation by Brenton there. Just looking at the wording of that at the end, the King James has a better translation there. It says, this also comes forth from Yahuwah of armies, which is wonderful in counsel and excellent in working. Makes way more sense there. Mm-hmm. All right, so we're going to move on to chapter 29, verse 6. You shall be visited by Yahuwah of armies with thunder, with earthquake, and great noise, with strength, storm and tempest, and the flame of devouring fire. Obviously, this is talking about the day of Yahuwah's wrath, and all that. Okay, so we're going to move on. I don't think there's much differences in the versions there. Nothing really to expound upon. So I think we're going to go to chapter 29, verse 6 next. You shall be visited. Got stupid notifications in my way. You shall be visited with thunder from Yahuwah of armies, and with earthquake, and with a great noise, with storm and tempest, and a flame of devouring fire. So let's see here. So flame of devouring fire. Okay, so we have the word of my bad. We have Yahuwah of armies there, verse 6. Okay. All right. I think we're gonna move on to chapter 31, 4-5. So move up to that bullet point here. Okay. Chapter 31, verses 4-5. Okay. 31, 4-5. So here it says, now this time the Masoretic doesn't have it. Kind of interesting. Because if I go to the Septuagint, it will have, okay, both of them don't have it in the beginning. I see what happened. Okay. So for thus says Yahuwah to me, as a lion would roar, or lions whelp over prey which he has taken, and cry over it until the mountains are filled with his voice, and the animals are awestruck and tremble at the fierceness of his wrath. So Yahuwah Sabaoth, Yahuwah of armies, shall descend to fight upon the Mount Sion, upon her mountains. So it is there, but it's at the end. Okay, so very interesting here. Okay, so that was Isaiah 31:4. Okay, so now we're going to go to verse 5. And it says here, as birds flying, so will Yahuwah of armies defend Jerusalem. Defending also, he will deliver it, and passing over, he will preserve it. By the way, most likely, this is in context with Zechariah chapter 14, most likely. That would be the safe bet with that, is that it's talking about the same context of those nations attacking Jerusalem. You can also find it, I believe, in Ezekiel 38. Okay. Yeah, it's pretty much the same in all versions there. So we're going to move on to chapter 37, verse 16. So Isaiah 37, verse 16. O Yahuwah of armies, Yahuwah Sabaoth, Eluah of Yasharal, who sits upon the cherubs. Ooh. Oh man, this is a good one for the oneness. Who sits over the cherubs? That is a good one there. Isaiah 37:16. So who sits above the cherubs? Now we know that phrase can only be referring to Yahuwah. You alone are the Alua of every kingdom of the world. You have made heaven and earth. Interesting. Okay, so that was Isaiah 37:16. Let's go to verse 32 here. For out of Jerusalem shall be a remnant, and the saved ones out of Mount Zion, the zeal of Yahuwah of armies shall perform this. Notice how it says remnant, remnant, remnant. Because so many different people have said to me, but Doug, Joel 2:32, yeah? Well, go to other places where it's talking about the same prophecy. It says remnant, okay?
Mhm.
Not everyone, remnant, election, okay? Doctrine of election, okay? So, again, not everyone that's going to be physically in Jerusalem is going to be saved, okay? And you can find this, what I'm talking about here is in, I believe, Joel 2:31 or 2:32 I'm referring to, where it talks about, everyone that calls upon the name of Yahuwah shall be saved. Again, the context there, though, it says those that have been called, okay? So just to show you guys what I'm talking about here, you go to Joel chapter 2, which is talking about the same exact prophecy that we just read about here. Okay, so it says here, it shall, in the Septuagint says, it shall come to pass that whosoever shall call on the name of Yahuwah shall be saved. Okay, keep on going. That's not the whole verse. For in Mount Zion and in Jerusalem shall the saved one be, as Yahuwah has said, and they that have glad tidings preach to them whom Yahuwah has called. So we got to take the whole verse in context. Whole verse in context is talking about those that have been chosen, those that have been called. Okay, very key there. So there's a reason I wanted to go there, because there's a huge misunderstanding on that verse. Okay, so again. All right, so that was Isaiah's 37:32, though, which, by the way, like I said, is a parallel account of Joel 2:32. It's almost like how you have parallel accounts of the Besoras. One gives you more information than the other. So that's what's going on there. So we just did Isaiah 37:16 and 37:32. Now we'll be going to Isaiah 38 and, oh, my bad, not 38, chapter 39, verse 5. And Isaiah said to him, hear the word of Yahuwah of armies. Again, Yahuwah of armies, okay? And the important part of this is a lot of people say to me, well, Doug, word just means utterance. Okay, that's fine. But it's saying the word of Yahuwah Sabaoth, the word of Yahuwah of armies. So it's actually saying the word of Yahusha. So I have no problem in that verse that it's just talking about utterance. You still have a person called the word of Yahuwah that it's referring to. So anyway, so okay, chapter 44, verse 6. Thus says Yahuwah, the king of Yasharal, and Alua of armies that delivered him. I am the first, I am hereafter. Besides me, there is no Alua. Now let's just extrapolate this verse real quick, right? Isaiah 44, verse 6. Okay, that's where we're at right now. Now let's extrapolate that real quick. Okay, it's saying that the person who is Yahuwah Alua of armies is the only Elohim. That's what it's saying. It's saying this person, Yahuwah Alua of armies, Elohim of angel armies, okay? He is the first. He is the only thereafter. And besides him, there's no other creator. That's what he's saying. So essentially, the verse is saying that besides Yahusha, there's no other creator. There's no other Elohim. So to me, that's interesting. Isaiah 45, verse 13. I have raised him a king with righteousness, and all his ways are right. He shall build my city and shall turn the captivity of my people, not for ransoms, nor for rewards, says Yahuwah of armies. I believe this could be referring to a prophecy about Yahusha that really has not even been fully fulfilled yet. Isaiah 45, 13. It's talking about that he shall build my city. Now, as far as I know, Mom, did Yahusha ever build, a new Jerusalem? I don't think so. So
Not yet.
So that definitely has to be millennium context or new heaven, new earth context at best. It has to be one of those time periods. So that clearly Isaiah 45:13 has not been fulfilled. So Yahusha himself is referring to, it's interesting, he's like referring to himself in the third person. He's saying, this king, he's going to walk, all his ways will be right. He shall build my city. He shall turn the captivity of my people. So, which is not that hard to believe. I mean, when Yahusha came to earth, guys, he was talking about himself in the third person all the time. He referred to himself as the Son of Man in the third person all the time. So, not that hard to believe. Isaiah 47, verse 4, we're at right now. So it says here, your Savior is Yahuwah of angel armies, or Yahuwah Sabaoth. The set apart one of Yashar'al is his name. Remember who was the one that said this in certain versions of the New Testament? Was it Kepha that said this? He said, you are the set apart one that came from Yahuwah. Mm-hmm. So some manuscripts of the Greek New Testament will actually call him the Kadash one. I find it interesting that this verse says he is the set apart one of Yashar'al. Mm-hmm. So just making little notes here. So that was Isaiah 47:4, Kadash 1. Okay, so Isaiah 48, verse 2, we're going to go to. I just kind of want to keep track of, let's see here. Yahuwah willing, I would like for us to at least get close to the end of this list by the time we end this meeting tonight. But at the same time, I don't want to make the video too long for the viewers and listeners. I think we're going on, what, Mom, hour and a half already? Yeah. All right, so we'll probably end it at a 2-hour mark. Just let me know, Mom, when it's like 10 p.m. our time. All right. We'll just do this for another 20, 30 minutes to see how far we get. I don't want to press it past 2 hours. That's going to be too long for people. So let's just see here. What I'm doing, guys, is I'm checking to see how much farther we have to go to. Right now, we're at Isaiah 48:2. So let's just go to Isaiah 48:2 while I'm trying to get this up on my computer here, just to try to see.
Brother, you can always do part 1 and part 2, part 3.
Yeah,
you can make it a series.
I've been sis. This is like part 4 already.
Yeah, that's good. That's good, because see, like, we can direct somebody to go to the series of, you know what I mean? Yeah. And there you have sequels up to 7, 8, 9. Yeah, that's good. Okay, and just checking.
I got you. No problem. You're totally fine. I got you. Let me just see here. Why did it go to that study? I wanted it to open the other one. That was weird. Yeah. People have petty problems with me talking loud. Get a life. Seriously. Get a life. Oh my goodness, Yahuwah help me. Yeah. Yahuwah help me not take a burden on the Shabbat right now. I know. I'm about to flip out. Let's see here. So let me just see. I apologize to people in YouTube right now. I'm just trying to see how much farther we have to go with this topic here, because there's a couple more in this study. So we haven't even gotten to the pillar of cloud or the pillar of fire yet. So let's see here. So Mom, we're up to 48. Yeah, 48 verse 2. So what we're going to do is we're going to do, I think we'll do a couple more, and then it's going to go to a whole nother page anyway. So we'll just do a couple more and end it for tonight. And I have to do another part. Okay, so we're at 48 verse 2, Isaiah 48 verse 2. So it says, maintaining also the name of these set apart city, and staying themselves on the Alua of Yasharal. Yahuwah of armies is his name. The former things I have already declared. Now, interesting, it says the former things I have already declared. So the person talking is Yahuwah of armies. Very interesting. Again, like, this is a really good study even to give to people that are still not too sure about the oneness topic. I even recommend this for the oneness topic, just how much stronger you'll see in certain verses in the Septuagint and Targums how the Yahuwah Sabayut or Yahuwah Alua or Yahuwah Elohim is the Father. It's the same person. So this is a very decent study for that topic even. Let's go to Isaiah 51:15 now. Okay, so Isaiah 51:15, which says, For I am your Alua that troubles the sea and causes the waves thereof to roar. Yahuwah of armies, Yahuwah Sabayut is my name. So again, Yahuwah of Sabayut or Sabayut is his name. Now we're going to go to Isaiah 54 verse 5. For Yahuwah that made you, Yahuwah of armies is his name. This is another great verse for the oneness topic. So it's saying that Yahuwah is Yahuwah of armies. He is the Alua of Yasharal and shall be called so by the whole earth. Remember how it talks about every knee shall bow and all that? So Jeremiah 6 verse 6. And there was sent to me one of the seraphs. My bad. Oh no, Jeremiah 6 verse 6. My bad about that, guys. For thus says Yahuwah, hew down her trees, array a numerous force against Jerusalem, O false city, all the oppression in her. For thus says Yahuwah, glean thoroughly as a vine, the remnant of Yasharel, turn back as a grape gatherer to his basket. Now let me see if, okay, yeah, Yahuwah of armies is in the Masoretic in verse 9. So I don't know why I had verse 6 there. Let me fix that. Okay. Thus says Yahuwah of armies, they shall thoroughly glean the remnant of Yasharel as a vine, turn back your hand as a grape gatherer into your baskets. Okay. All right. So now let me just see here how much. Oh yeah, we got a lot.
You may as well just.
Yeah, I think we're gonna cut it off here, guys, only because we got a good another page or so just for Yahuwah of armies, and then we're gonna have at some point we're gonna do the scriptures talking about the pillar of the cloud, pillar of fire, and then we just have the hidden quiver of Yahuwah, and that's it. So please stay tuned, everyone. I would definitely suggest, like Sister Sadia mentioned, we're going to be having a playlist of this stuff. Really try to find the earliest videos. I mean, this is already part 4. So what I would really recommend for you to fully understand what we're going through and what I'm mentioning and expounding and expositioning on with these scriptures, I would really recommend you watch like part 1 up to this video. If this is the first time you've seen this series, definitely go to part 1 first, because you're going to get a little confused what I'm talking about. Certain context of what I'm expounding on, only people that have been following us on this series we've been doing are going to understand this. So again, this is how to find Yahusha in the Tanakh, part 4. All right. So I just want to say thank you guys for joining. Hopefully you got something out of this. Like I said, this type of series really is meant for it's not really meant for people that already have this understanding of who Yahusha is. This series is mainly our audience really is those that possibly may have not even accepted Yahusha as their Messiah yet, those that, or even those that are starting to fall away to an Old Testament only belief system. So this is a way to, prevent some of our brothers and sisters from falling away. This is a study to show them that the New Testament does not contradict the Old Testament. It shows a whole concise message that Yahusha is Yahuwah the whole time. So I just, hopefully this study is getting out to those that need to see this study. That would be my prayer, that those that need this are getting to see this. Because I know a lot of us in this fellowship, this is kind of like, preaching to the choir here, basically. But hopefully there's those out there that are still kind of confused about the oneness and how it works. Hopefully a study like this is going to help you understand that, we don't have to understand the full, every little aspect of how Yahuwah and Yahusha are the same one physical entity. We don't have to fully understand that, but we at least have to get the basics of this understanding. It's a very core understanding of the Hebrew faith that Yahuwah is one. Okay, he's one, he's not two, he's not three, he's not four, he's not six, he's not a pantheon. Okay, he's one. So this is an important concept to understand. So again, and I don't know if I detailed this in part 1, but if those of you are still kind of conspiratory to receiving this, I would recommend you look into earlier thought process of certain Judeans of the 1st century to the 3rd century. They still believed in this concept, and they had a version of this concept called the 2 powers in heaven. You can look this up for yourself. This was deeply in their culture. This was not a Christian idea. This was not a Catholic-made idea. This oneness concept was in the Hebrew culture. That's why the authors of the Targums, even if they never met Yahusha, they knew that this person called the Word of Yahuwah in heaven was a version of the Father that would be sent to humanity to cohabitate with us, as far as talking with us and interacting with us, that we could handle. And this is all over through the Aramaic Targums, which, by the way, are labeled even today as Jewish literature. They're not Christian literature. They're not Catholic literature. They predate Christianity. So that's why I was interwoven the Targum in this type of study for those out there, especially if any Jewish people saw this, especially if any Muslim people saw this. So you guys see that there's no agenda here. This is just what it is. This is what it's always been, that you have Dabar Yahuwah, the Word of Yahuwah, and Yahuwah, but it's the same person. It's the same exact entity. And that's what you'll start seeing if you search it for yourselves. I don't expect you to just believe me because I'm saying it. Search it for yourselves. You're going to see this. But this is really a study for us out there that are trying to witness to people, especially if you meet a Jewish or Muslim person. You're going to have to prove to them from the Old Testament that number one, he is the Father. Number two, that he was the one that always was supposed to come and save us. So when you're preaching to a Muslim, you can't use New Testament. When you're preaching to a Jewish person, you can't use New Testament. And so this is a perfect way to do it, so I was led to do this type of series for that purpose. So for those that are just joining on and not understanding what is the purpose, Doug, why is this important? Well, it's going to make it easier for us to have all this ammunition to witness to a person that already has a preconceived bias against the New Testament. with all this ammunition cross references from the Tanakh, I could go up to Ashkenazi or a Sephardic Jew or this type of Jew, that type of Jew. I don't even need to use one verse from the New Testament. I'll be asking them about all these titles that Yahusha is known by in the Old Testament. Be like, okay, so who's the messenger of Yahuwah? Okay, who is the esteem or splendor of Yahuwah? Who is the right hand of Yahuwah? Why, if the messenger of Yahuwah is just a regular messenger, why is he claiming that he made a covenant with Israel? Why is he claiming that he's the one that physically brought them out of Egypt? So these are ways that you can witness to people that already have a bias against the Brit Hadashah, that already have a bias against the New Testament. So again, this is a really important topic I believe it's an important tool even to use when you're witnessing to certain people that have a bias against the Brit Hadashah, which will be belief systems out there. When you witness to a certain person, they're gonna be like, I don't believe in that. So you got to be able to combat that. You got to have a backup plan at least. You'll be like, okay, I'm going to show you here from stuff you actually believe in. So anyway, so just to put it out there, that's the whole purpose. Our assemblies doing this study. That's the purpose. So again, if you're saying to yourself, you're watching this study tonight and you already have this understanding, you don't have to watch it if you already have this understanding. If you're kind of annoyed saying, I already know this, just, leave. Don't watch it. It's not a big deal. This is meant for people that really, this type of study is meant for people that are either struggling with the oneness topic or number two, have not even received Yahusha yet. That's our audience for this type of study. It's not everyone is going to fit this type of audience for this type of study. Some people are going to come across it that already have a good foundation like this, understand this, and they're going to be like, oh, I'm wasting my time. Yeah. I mean, if you already have this understanding, it is kind of wasting your time. So, so I'm not trying to be mean. I'm just trying to be honest. Like, this is a specific audience for this type of study. This is for witnessing. This is for preaching the good news to people that haven't received it. So anyway, so hopefully those that, hopefully Yahuwah moved some of you to see this tonight that really needed to see it. And hopefully, it was edifying. Hopefully, it was something that, you could benefit from. So anyway, so please stay tuned. Yahuwah willing, we'll be on tomorrow going through our normal Sabbath study. And to all of our brothers and sisters out there, Shabbat Shalom. Feel free to share this series with anyone you know that you think this is going to benefit someone. So Shalom.
Shalom.